Hey everybody, it's Kenny, and I want to talk about a little bit about leadership tonight. Has this ever happened to anybody? You drive down the highway, and has anybody ever seen these signs that say bump? Like it actually tells you that a bump is coming in that road. And how many times has this happened to you? The bump is coming, and you know it's coming, and you slow down, and it's really nothing. It's just like a very, very small bump in that road. So that's happened to me over the years. I'm sure it's happened to you. What I started doing was I started ignoring it, right? When I would see those signs, I was just like, hey, it's going to be nothing. And most of the time, it's been nothing. Last week, I was up in Ohio and I was driving. Wasn't going that fast. I was going about 60, 65. Sure enough, it said bump. And sure enough, I ignored it. And what did I do? I went over this bump at about 65 miles an hour. This was a big one. Boom. Just jarred the car, had to hold on to the wheel. It was a really strong bump in the road. What the heck does that have to do with leadership? Well, when you start to think about us as leaders, sometimes we ignore, just like I did, those little small bumps and those signs. We sometimes ignore those. Some of those signs might be someone maybe is called out a couple of times this week. One of your top performing consultants has just all of a sudden slipped. They're still kind of, in the yellow, close to green, but there's just something not right about them. But we might ignore that small bump as well. But then the big bump happens, right? And then we overreact. That same top rep, they've called out and they've slipped a little bit because they've been looking for another job. And them and maybe two more of your reps, now leave you. Now that's a big bump and now you're in crisis mode. Whereas that, as a leader, if you had really paid attention to those small bumps and, hey, wait a second, I noticed you're never out sick and the last week you've been out a couple of times. What's going on? Hey, you're always at like 150% to your composite goal. You're not doing that bad this month, but you just don't have that same pep in your step. What's going on? Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. If we really tend to those small bumps in the road, we'll absolutely 100% prevent those big bumps in the road that can happen. I'm Kenny, and we're going to talk more about leadership. Talk to you real soon.